One of the challenges with a device like this, though, is bending over and playing with the knobs. So what the manufacturers have come up with, and we'll kind of move over here to my handy-dandy Windows-based computer. I'm just going to talk to us. Lovely sound. They've come up with an editor. And what this allows us to do, and we're going to go over here and pick a tone that I've just started playing with. We can come in here and instead of a bassman, we can say, oh, let's use a tread plate. That's not quite right. Let's try it instead of 410s. Let's try it with blackback 30s. And instead of a Sennheiser 409, an SM57. But we're getting into that kind of buzzy tonality. Let's try something a little bit more clarity. Blackface Deluxe with one Celestion 12. So we set up an amplifier choice. Then we go to our effects boxes. And here we can play with a bunch of different things. My first thing in my chain is my volume pedal, because I like to be able to switch guitars without noise, and also allows me to do stuff like that. But we're going to go to my first box here, and in this case, it's my distortion stuff. And that's not really giving me a lot of gain, so I'm going to take my drive, kick it way up. And maybe a little bit more mid-range on that. So there's distortion choices. If I don't like the tube screamer, which they just call a screamer for legal reasons, we can go to a color drive. So we have a lot of different choices in our overdrive. We have modulation. Modulation, and this is something unique to the pods, it's a pattern tremolo. Kind of like Morse code. They have several different types of tremolo. They have a panner, which we can't demonstrate in mono, so we're not even going to try. They have the ubiquitous script phase, patterned after MXR phase 90. One of the first phasers out on the market. They have pitch vibrato. Not to be confused with tremolo. So we have a whole passel of stuff. Tri-course is kind of cool. Again, better in stereo. It's 3 different courses, pan, center, left, and right, at different tempos. Very rich. Oops, wrong one. Ring modulator is kind of fun. Not very musical, but useful for getting the neighbors to leave. And of course, we've heard flangers before. My favorite, the rotary drum. So those are time modulation. We have filters. This is kind of good. Simulated talk box, vocoder. I'm not sure how that's going to sound. Oh, that needs the microphone to be hooked up. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to that another time. We can probably play that a little bit more. Dynamic filter, bunch of different things in here. Okay, so we've had enough fun with filters. Pitch change is so you get in octave units. You can tune in fifths and stuff. Those are kind of also interesting. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff. Delay, which are in stereo. This one actually goes left and right. It's a ping pong. The one that I like the best is the, let me find it, because there's a bunch of them. The analog delay with mod. Electro Harmonix came out with the Memory Man, which had a kind of a funky tone, but it was one of the more reasonable priced delay lines. And then they add the mod. So if you let it sustain, you ended up with a chorus effect on your echo, which is kind of cool. I think that pretty much takes us through the effects that are available in your typical multi-effects box. Again, we're using the Line6 Pod HD 500, one of my favorites. But what these allow you to do is to cover a wide range of tonalities in one compact box that's easy and quick to set up. If you're sharing the bill with 3 other bands, they don't want you to take 30 minutes to plug in all your little stop boxes and all the power supplies and stuff. You can argue that, well, that isn't exactly a Dynacomp, and that isn't exactly a Vox wah pedal. I would propose that you would be hard-pressed on YouTube to hear the difference, and I guarantee the people who are paying your check when you play, the patrons in the club, can't tell the difference. So until you can afford a road crew of 6 to set your rig up, this is a really cost-effective way to get all your favorite sounds in one place. This is Jack Van Breen from Guitar Showcase for Totally Guitars Tone, and we'll talk to you later.